My understanding, my openness, my empathy is my superpower. Dyspraxia has made me who I am. Dyspraxia has brought so many positive things into my life.
So, hi MJ, a very warm and hearty welcome to our show today.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So, MJ, you're a presenter, you're a TV actress, you're a model, you're an advocate for dyspraxia, and the list goes on. So, tell us a little bit about your current projects.
Thank you. Well, recently I was on national TV on Channel 4 here in the UK, a TV show called Steps Pack Lunch. And I was invited on the show to talk about my life story, my weight loss, overcoming my sugar addiction, overcoming binge eating, and how I turned my life around from being in a really dark place, losing 8 stone, and now just getting my life back on track and pursuing and living my dreams. And being on national TV is something I've wanted since I was a small child. I love just the energy, the one-time take that you get, living in the magic, just going for it, working with the crew. I love it all. And to be on TV is just a dream of mine. And to be on TV now every week on Channel 4 is just so exciting. I love it so much.
Yeah, this is so exciting. And so you definitely are now moving into the glamour world, which was your, dream, your childhood dream. But today, I want to talk more about your personal life. We know, all of us, we have different personalities. We are different for social media. We're different in front of our families and our friends, and we're different with ourselves, as our own personality. So today, I want to take a deep dive into MJ Carter, who she is, with her soul and her heart. I hope you don't mind sharing everything about your life today.
Of course, let's go for it. I think I'll need a drink first. Let's go.
Yeah, just a disclaimer, like if you feel any question you don't want to answer or you feel uncomfortable, feel free to just pass it on. We can move along.
Do you know what? It's all out there on the internet, so let's go.
Let's start with right from your birth. Like, where were you born? And
I was born in Liverpool, England, on the 21st of April, 1995, the same day as our Queen Elizabeth.
Ooh.
So
Oh, wow.
And I was diagnosed with dyspraxia when I was 4 or 5 years old. My mum knew that there was difficulties from a really early age, but she just thought, you know what, I'll just leave it for a while. And then it was the school system when I was really little. They noticed that I was having problems in school, holding a pen, getting involved with, daily tasks, holding, drawing things, art, crafts. I was really struggling with the motor skill. And earlier on from that, when I was born, I couldn't crawl on my crawling mat. So we noticed all these difficulties. It was the school psychologist back in 2000, maybe 1990, who called my mum, asked her to come into the school and talk about it. And that's when I got my doctor's GP diagnosis. Yeah. So I was really, really young and really small, and I had no idea what was going on. I just remember I being asked to walk along lines and hold things, and it was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, at the time, I don't believe there was much awareness as well about dyspraxia and, being identified as a disorder as such. Like me being a neurodiversity affirming therapist, I personally work on a mission to detach that notion of special needs, but I want to see your experience while you were in your school. What are some of your achievements that you've had because of having this condition, dyspraxia?
Yeah. So my school life was really difficult, but I think, in the important years in high school, when you're in the important prime of your life, I fell into art and drama and music and singing and school shows. And I really struggled with topics such as PE, physical education, maths, all these core subjects that you have to do in school. And I really, really struggled. And finding theatre and finding acting and putting all my love and my soul into that, I believe I learned so much just as a person through that, as a human, my passion, my interest. And in school, I really, really did struggle, especially with my writing. I felt so embarrassed when we were in school and we get asked to write on the board. And with my writing, I'd write on the board and my writing would be slanty. And even holding a pen to this day, I really struggle to do that to this day. So I think that's why I'm probably good at talking.
We're more on the creative side. You did struggle with academic subjects, but you're more on the creative subjects, the art and more creativity. But so the handwriting part that you mentioned, and me being an occupational therapist, I definitely have to bring up that. So was it because of your struggles with the motor planning, or was it?
Yes, it was just holding the pen. The pen felt really difficult in my hand. It felt uncomfortable. It felt unnatural. I just didn't know what to do with it. And even to this day, I still struggle with my writing, my coordination. But thankfully, because I've been diagnosed now for 20, well, I'm 27, I'm almost 28. Because I've been diagnosed, early on in my life, I've coped and found mechanisms and coping strategies to help me get through. And now, because I've been diagnosed for almost 22, 23 years, I now just tell people, I go, this is how it is, this is what's happening, but I'll get the job done and I'll make it happen. And I think honesty is the best policy.
Exactly. And as a therapist, I feel like, I don't believe in the brick and mortar kind of therapy where, if you struggle with handwriting, you have to, no matter what, you have to work on it, you have to make it possible. And it's difficult, for especially like you mentioned, it was difficult for you. You didn't know how to work with it. So I believe in finding ways which work for you. And thankfully, today technology is booming. We can, we can just use the digital world and type along instead of handwriting. So it's great that you did figure out things. How did you need to take therapy, or how was it for you?
Yeah, I think growing up, because I got diagnosed so young, I was put on programs from the hospital. I was given, someone to a support worker when I was really, really young to pick me up from school and take me to groups with other neurodiverse children and, to build that rapport and just to get me out and get me in there. And so I did that. And then I had therapy in school when I was younger, just to talk about my feelings. And then even a few years ago, when I was going through a really hard time of my life with gaining the weight and the depression, the binge eating, the trauma, I had a little bit of therapy then. And I think whatever age you are, it's important to express how you feel and just, know that it's okay to talk.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, the more you talk, the more you take it out of you, you don't have that guilt left inside you. So that's a great point. But I want you to maybe if you feel comfortable, describe some of your moments during your school life where did you anytime feel that you were struggling or did not feel treated as same as neurotypical children?
Yeah, do you know what? I actually haven't shared this before. So this is the first time I'll be sharing on your show. I think I was about 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old. And we had to draw, the baby Jesus, the statue of the baby Jesus in the manger, and Mary and Joseph and the King's Men. And we had to draw that. So the teacher, I don't know what the need to do this was, but she might have been filling time in the lesson or something. So she said, the class to draw that. And I really, really struggled. So I think I drew stick men or something like that. I made sure I did it because I was always that type of person. Even today, I will always make it happen. I'll never just give up. So I did do the task to the best I could in that moment, being so young in a big class of, also young people. Yeah. And I drew sick men. And this is just This was awful. This was just absolutely so inappropriate and so out of line and just completely everything against what a teacher should do. But the teacher actually ripped the drawing that I drew, took it off the table, stood it up in front of the whole class and said, "What is this? What have you done? This isn't right. Look at everyone else, what they've done, and you've just drawn stick men." Really humiliated me in front of the whole class. And that's still to this day, I can picture how I was feeling. I can picture the person who was sitting next to me in the classroom. I can picture the sheer shame, embarrassment that I felt. And I knew, even though so much has happened in my life since then and I've grown as a person, I think now why I do so much for dyspraxia and neurodiversity is probably a part of that moment, because I don't want any young person out there in this world to feel ashamed, to feel stigmatized, to feel embarrassed for being exactly who they are. And that's why I'm so passionate about this today. So tapping into that emotion, what happened to me 20 plus years ago, I know now that I will never feel like that again. And if I could go back in time, I'd be like, well, I did do that. And I'm proud to be doing this. I'm proud to be dyspraxic, to be MJ, to be who I am. So that happened. And that was a real small knock. That was a really horrendous, hard thing to happen to such a small child. And even an adult, no one should ever do that. And I think I went home that day and I cried my eyes out. And my mum was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I cried my eyes out. And because I was so little, I couldn't really breathe. And I was like, "This happened to me in school today." So then my mum just got the ball rolling. She thought, no, this ain't right. I don't care. She contacted the school the next day, had a meeting with the school, and then that got the ball rolling to start the process of me being diagnosed with the teacher. And she probably had a word with the teacher as well.
I mean, it did end it on a hilarious note, but it is a sensitive topic about like your feelings, right? And every single person who is neurodiverse, I bet they have gone through some moments of this in their life, for sure.
So can I add another one as well? Sorry. It's like certain jobs that I've done when I was starting out in my career, because I've been a performer since I was 11, 12 years old. And I have actually had different jobs. You know what this industry's like. It's unpredictable. You're out of work, you're in work, you're working, you're performing, you're in and out of different jobs. So I've had like waitressing jobs, I've had bar jobs, I've had catering jobs, I've had all kinds of different jobs, a list of them, retail. And I've actually been in jobs and situations where I've been like stigmatized. I've been called clumsy. I've been called all these old dated, old school terms that are inappropriate. And that is my burning through passion, to make awareness in the workplaces, in our school system today, that, just because your brain works a certain way doesn't mean that you can't get the job done. Not everyone has to go the same way. I always say in life, not everyone has to boogie with the same beat. And that's okay. That really is okay.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we're all, that's why we're here today, to discuss about that, spread the awareness, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right around that topic about how do you feel, what's your perspective on, oh, this is typical, this is atypical, this is normal? When you mentioned the topic, you discussed your incident about the drawing, which was a stick figure drawing, so it was not the same as other students in the class. And your teacher was like, "What is this? This is not how it's supposed to be. This is not right." So, but I don't feel anything wrong in that, because it was still a figure, it was still a human figure. So it was just described in a different way. So what is your perspective on this, like, oh, this is right, you have to fit in a certain box, you have to be correct, is it normal, is it abnormal? What's your perspective on this?
Yeah, I mean, well, it was art. It was an art class, so art is completely different to the eye. So what I see could be different to what you see.
Right.
So I think in a subject like that, whatever, as long as you participate in that task, which I fully did, I was always very well behaved, just very quite misunderstood. Because as we went back to our point of people not being aware of dyspraxia and neurodiversity back then, thankfully now in the world we are a bit more aware, and people are okay now, a bit more to talk about how they're feeling and talk about mental health and mental illness and stuff, which is great. But I think back then, I think I just thought it just came to me to just be involved in this task and do it. And I drew the stick men. And I always think, well, if you're getting involved in that task and you're doing it, who used to say if it's right or wrong? Because it's what the eye sees and with art. And I think that's why I fell into performing and acting, because I could express myself and be me and let my soul come alive. And even like when it comes to learning lines, like me and my partner is a filmmaker and we work a lot together. He's a director, a writer and a producer, and we work very well together. And even like now, writing lines and creating content and stuff, it just comes so natural to me because it's art and it's natural. And it's, you know, what I see and what I put out there is my vision. Whatever someone else puts out, that's their vision. So I think now we can't really say it's normal or say it's different, you know, because it's just what we see.
Yeah. So let's now dive into the exciting things in your life. So how did you come to make this decision, or at what point did it click to your mind? Like, I want to go into this glamour world. I want to go into, you know, becoming an actress or a personality model. What clicked that in your mind?
I think the passion for the art was always there in my life. You know, I was in the school choir. I was literally drama classes. I was the first one in the room and I was the last one to leave. In school, it was always there, and I worked hard. I worked so much harder to learn my lines, to, you know, in the scene, get the movement right, listen to the beats, and because I struggle with patterns and rhythms and stuff like that, I got through it, and that's why I believe, even with all the adversity and my neurodiversity, I believe I was meant to do this because it just feels right. And it was when I was little, we were on holiday in Spain, and that night there was like a cabaret night on, and it was where the people staying in the hotel could get involved in the show, the entertainment, and it was fabulous. I mean, it was so funny and so heartwarming and just lovely. So I wanted to be involved. I went out and all the other kids were swimming and playing football and doing everything else, and I go down as a 10-year-old and say to the guy, the compere, can I please get involved in the show this evening, please? I would love to do that. And he goes to me, and I was the only child. It was all adults. I think there was a couple on the honeymoon, and elderly couple, some 18, 19-year-old partying away. And little mate, comes over and says, can I please get involved in the show? Yeah. And I think it was all adults. He was a bit like, oh, you know, maybe not, but you can watch the show. And I went, okay then, like, that's fine if I can't be in it. And then I think he saw me face that I was really disheartened. And then I went back up to the sun bit. I went in the pool, swimming, all stuff like that. And then he comes round, the guy, the entertainer guy at the hotel, and says, okay, you can be in the show. And the show was like a lip sync version of Grease, a summer nights. And it was just, so he said to me, you could be one of the pink ladies. So little me was one of the pink ladies with these two other women. And it was just lip sync to all the Grease songs, summer nights. And it was fabulous. And I got involved in it from there, done the performance. I think I took over the whole show, to be honest. I'm very sorry to everyone else who was in it. And we done the holiday. And I just remember being so proud of myself and all, this is what I want to do with my life. So I came home then, and that year I was starting high school. So there wasn't much going on in the drama sector in the high school. So I said to we were performing in the early years of school. I think it was like a script, and we just had to like say the script and get marked on it. And my drama teacher really noticed how much I loved it, how much I embraced it, and how much I was so passionate about it. So he said to me, like, let's do something, let's bring theatre and acting and performing arts to the school. And then we did, and I was in all the school shows.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I was involved in the school choir. We sang in Germany, we sang in France, Paris, and then we did an amazing performance one time in one show, musical comedy Murders, an American show, and the headmaster, the head teacher was in the school that day, and he gave the school £10,000 worth of microphones, equipment, guitars, drums, everything to put towards the musical drama in the school, and I just felt so proud. felt so proud.
Amazing. That's so amazing. So, you seem to be very outgoing. Since childhood, you never had that stage fear, or if there's like 100 room full of 100 people, did you ever have that stage fear, or it turns out to be one of your strengths, actually, to be going outspoken and not have that fear of speaking?
Yeah, it's funny because when you're younger, I think just as a woman anyway, and as a young person, when you start getting interested in boys, and you wouldn't eat in front of a boy or anything like that. I think when you're younger, I was like that. I was very confident. I'd get up on stage and think, oh, well, watch me perform. Woo, I'll blow the roof off. But I think in like my everyday personal life, of course, I mean, you go through so much when you're younger, don't you? Your body changes, you change. And even like now, sometimes I still get a little bit giddy when I'm going on doing a show. But it's what I do with my nerves now. I turn them into my adrenaline. I don't let them become my master. And I let them be my rocket fuel, I call it. And I put myself out there. So these nerves are just like, go, let's go for it, And I believe that's what carries me through to my life today.
Yeah, and like have you mentioned about your struggles with motor difficulties, following those steps and the rhythm, and you over practiced for those struggles. You made sure you get them right, and today they are your strength. That's becoming your because of that consciousness or anxiety around it. Today it has become one of your strengths.
Absolutely. I always say dyspraxia is not a barrier. Dyspraxia is my armor. If I'm learning a routine or I'm learning something and I learn it and it's maybe a bit offbeat or whatever, it's done in my way. And I think your craft as an actress and as a performer, you can never show that you've messed up or you've done something wrong. It's about just having that professional and I think just having my personality as well. I get through it and I put myself into it, and I think it's working always.
It is definitely working. So how was your I did come across, and it's very popular, about your weight loss series that you've done on TV. So tell us a little bit about the ups and downs. How did that roller coaster happen in your life?
Thank you. So I've always had depression, and I know that since I was a small child. Around the time I got diagnosed with dyspraxia in the late 90s, early 2000s, depression had always been there for me. Even, when I was going through my early years and, finding myself, and I got a really bad bout with depression about 8 years ago, and I was addicted to sugary drinks. I've always liked sugary drinks. I've always enjoyed them. They've always been my guilty pleasure. But this guilty pleasure went so far. It went to an addiction. And another side of my weight loss, which I will get onto shortly. So I was drinking these sugary drinks as a coping mechanism of my depression, hiding the bottles under the bed, breaking the cans off of Coke, Cola, all the sugary drinks, hiding them in the bedroom drawers, the cupboards, putting this weight on, being unhealthy, having palpitations, dizzy spells, chronic fatigue. Or, at a 21, 22, 23-year-old girl, I felt like I was going to die. That's how bad it got. I thought, I am not going to get through this year. I'm young, but I'm not going to get through it. My addiction was that bad. And it wasn't just the sugary drinks, it was the binge eating. Binge eating late at night, takeaway addictions, hiding food in my cupboards, my drawers. I'd order takeaways, order food at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I would actually it was laptops back then. It was more where you ordered on the laptop back then. And I'd put onto the notes to the delivery drivers, please park up the road so my dad doesn't wake up, who I was living with at the time. Out of sight, out of mind mentality, going out in the pitch black in the middle of the night, taking this food off the delivery driver, running in, hiding back in so my dad wouldn't hear me, eating the food, going back out the front door, into the bins, taking the rubbish out of the bin bags, putting the food boxes, the takeaway boxes in the bin, and then putting the rubbish from the house in on top. But there's only so long you can keep doing that for until you put weight on, you look the way you look, you change the weight, I had bags under my eyes because I was awake all night with the depression, the stress, the trauma. So I got to a point where I went up to 17 stone. I was agoraphobic. I couldn't leave the house for 6 months because I thought if I go out, something's going to happen to me. I'm going to die. X, Y, Z. It's going to be horrendous. My life is going to be over. And I think, and also because I had to learn myself how to cook food with my dyspraxia, another part that I struggled with was peeling and chopping vegetables, slicing vegetables, that motor skill with my hands. So I had to learn myself how to cook food. So I researched on YouTube how to chop an onion, how to chop a vegetable, how to cook chicken. And I learned how to do that because I thought I'm not going to die in this bedroom. I'm not going to die here. So I had to learn. And let me tell you, the amount of pans, plates I smashed, the amount of times I nearly set the kitchen on fire was honestly, it was endless. But I got there, and that's the message I got there. I lost 8 stone, beat my sugar addiction, and I'm here to tell the tale, baby.
Yeah, there you go. So, did you follow any, I was very curious, did you follow the keto diet?
I think naturally, because I have to educate myself online and YouTube's fantastic. And yeah, because I was addicted to sugar, I had to cut the sugar out. Yeah. So I followed a lot of keto, but I still have some carbohydrates like jacket potatoes and tuna, and because you have to for your health, you can't cut things out completely. And what I started doing was I was having instead of 5, 6 takeaways a week, I was having 1 takeaway or 2 takeaways. I was just trying to eliminate my sugar, and here we are today.
Yeah, step by step, right? And that's great progress. Even if it is a little progress, it's still progress. So
absolutely,
you live the tale, you show it how it's done, and you're okay. So tell us a little bit about your world tour that is coming up this summer.
I am so excited to announce that MJ Carter is going to be going on tour, and I'm going to be taking my MJ Talks on tour. And firstly, I'm going around some venues in the UK, some colleges, some universities, to help young people or people of all ages to know that whatever situation that you're in, wherever you are in your life, trauma, heartache, pain, loss, you can change your life and make it happen. And that's what it is with the MJ Talks. I'm going to be teaching people how to change their life, how to turn their life around, tips, tricks, hacks, workshops, and I'm so excited.
There you go. And are you visiting US as well?
Yes, I'm going to be visiting the US as well this year, so I'm so excited. I'm coming over to California.
I'm excited.
Yes, definitely.
We're definitely going to meet for drinks.
Oh, yes. Woo!
So, MJ, Drinks with MJ, what is it all about?
Literally this. I always say there's no drinks without MJ. And I think me personally, I grew up, I have had the best conversations with people with a drink in hand, and I'm not talking getting crazy drunk. That's not what the show's about. But I've been in so many situations in my life where I've had a drink and the other person's had 1 drink, and we've just spoke, and we've went heart to heart, and we've had the most authentic, genuine conversations I've ever had in my life. The most craziest, bizarre, heartfelt, real conversation ever. And as you know, part of my story, I was addicted to sugary drinks, and I was addicted to drinks, beverages still are, low sugar now though, for a huge part of my life. And I thought, well, me and my partner, I've just lost my dad. My dad was the backbone of my weight loss. Even when I was on the floor, he brought me, dragged me up, and gave me my motivation, metaphorically. And I think my dad had died. My dad had passed away about 3 weeks in, and I remember just crying in bed, early hours in the morning, just emotional, broken. Even when I'd just overcome all that trauma, my dad died suddenly out of the blue. Yeah. And I remember just crying in bed, lost, broken, everything, heartache. And me and my partner were talking, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Am I an actress? Am I a performer? What am I, a model? What am I going to do with my life? I just didn't know what I wanted to do anymore.
Yeah.
And he said to me, but why don't we set up a show? Why don't we do a podcast? You like a drink. The majority of other people like a drink.
Yeah.
You can talk. Let's go for it. And that's where we came up with Drinks with MJ. In that moment of trauma, in that moment of heartache, something incredible happened, which is Drinks with MJ. And the show is all about honest, real, authentic conversations. I interview people who I feel have got an interesting life story to tell. I'm going to get you on the show soon.
I'm excited.
Maybe you offer a drink. What's your favourite drink?
My favorite drink would be vodka. Vodka with soda. I'm trying to eat now, so
I love that. That is my favorite drink too. We'll get you on an interview. I'm going to interview definitely very soon. And I talk to people, life stories, but there is only one rule on the show. A drink is compulsory.
All right. So now that you are in actor world, you are a TV actress, how about we would like to see some little bit of your talent on screen here. So
oh my God.
What about you perform little snippet from your theater works or some dialogues from any show piece, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay. Oh, well, I'll do a scene from 1 sec.
Get some drinks on.
Yeah, I'll do a scene from. What would you like to see? Would you like to see a bit of Drinks with MJ? I mean, well, you see that's it. What would you like to see?
Maybe some of your any acting scene that you've done.
Okay, well, I'll do a scene from My Waist, the Amazon Prime movie. I'll do like my entrance. Okay, are we ready? 3. Let's go for it. I know. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic was horrendous. I have to stop off for a quick schmoddy buddy on the way. But I'm sorry. Anyway, how are you? What? Who's that?
Oh my God. It just feels natural. It just
And then there's more dialogue, with the 2 other actors. But yeah, thank you.
But you seem to be like, okay, click and ready to go. It's so awesome.
Thank you.
So now as we move along, I would like to discuss with you about, like I have been working with a lot of kids, right, through my career. So the most sensitive part that I come across, or the most difficult area, I would say, is when it's hard for parents to accept, that their child needs a different kind of an environment or, a different input than typical. I wouldn't say it's a normal, but it's just, you've got to work in a different pattern for success.
Yeah.
So that's where I have seen a lot of parents who would, because of the guilt or maybe the taboo, would not try to seek therapy or would not try to find the resources available because they don't want to come to the fact that you need to learn a different way to work with.
Yeah.
You need to understand your child better and work with your child, right? And if you don't have the talent, you need to get help. So what would you like to share? Your message, your journey from your life experiences, what would you like to share so that they would take that path of success?
I think that's a really good question and so important. I think just really listen, understand, and I think, these conditions, neurodiversity it's complex, but I think even just take your time as a parent, as a guardian, to just Google, just understand. There's, on the internet now, there's so many help groups, there's so many people, there's so many blogs, there's so many people talking about it, there's so many parents, guardians sharing their stories out there with, disabilities, neurodiversity. And I think just take that time to really research the core of the condition, the real depth of it, not just for now, but for later on in life, what it means, what happens, the journey of later on in life. It's so important. And I would say, talk to the schools, that your child goes to. Speak to the teachers, speak to the therapist. They're there to help and work with you. They're there to make your child's life better. And it's so important to just communicate. It's so important to just be open, be understanding, and just roll with it. Just go with it. If there's a certain, task that you're struggling with, just ask the tutor, ask the teacher, ask the therapist. They are there to help and guide you and work with you. There should be no judgment, no toxic environments, just real communication. And that's what I would say. Just go with it. And don't worry about a lot what people think, because this is your journey and this is your life. And that's what's important, to make the best of what you can with what you have.
Yeah, that's such a positive message. And now on the other side of the spectrum, like for the helicopter parents, for those who are like super conscious about their kids, they want them to, learn everything. They want to push them to such a limit where, your child is struggling and this is like such a huge weakness. You can focus on their strengths, right?
Yes.
Such parents, this is on the other side of the perspective, right? So what would be some of your tips that you would like to, from your own perspective, right? I'm sure there would be some moments in your life where your parents, after you've been diagnosed, would want to support you, all the time more. And sometimes it goes over limit. From a child's perspective. So share some of your experience or moments like that, and what would you also suggest parents?
Yeah, I think communication is key. Just talk and be open, and just know that whatever the journey is your journey. Don't compare it to anybody else's. You can't do that. Who you are and your story is what is your life. And you can't, what's so important about what I talk about today, you can't compare or have all these, this is going to happen, and have all these ideas, and we're going to do this. And, you have to just work with the best of what you've got in that situation, communicate, find out how you can make your situation and your life and your child's life better. So it's a positive thing. This is positive change. The way the world is now, it's all about making positive experiences. Growing up in my house when I was younger, we never even spoke about my condition. We never even spoke about dyspraxia. It was just the way I am, the way I was. And, my mum prompted me in the mornings, my dad, now it's time to brush your teeth. Now it's time to do this. Now it's time to get your bag. There's your shoes. We've got to go to school. We've got to go to playgroup. We've got to do all these things. And I think just incorporating that into your routine, these little changes, will make your child's life and your life so much easier.
Yeah, for sure. As long as, you focus on like who is the person versus the diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
Let's focus.
Yeah. And we all learn things in different ways. Just because you might have an idea and an ideology in your mind of, you go to school, you get to college, you do this, you get a job. Life doesn't always work like that. And as we know, things, we get thrown a curveball, we get thrown things, and things happen, and you just have to roll with what you've got and use what you've got and understand and go, well, maybe my child's life is meant to actually go in this way and get this support and get this guidance and get this help, and whatever that can be best for my child and my life. That's the most important thing, I would say. Communicate, don't judge, and talk.
Yep, for sure. Now, let's get in some juicy content about your dating life. Let's talk about some dates that you've been to, or some relationships, as long as you feel comfortable about it.
Of course. Well, I've been with my partner, Andy James Taylor, who's a filmmaker, for 4 years this year. And on our first date, he was late. Can you believe it? Like, really? He had like problems with the train. In the UK at the minute, we've got a lot of problems with like transport and trains and traffic and stuff. But he was late at the date. I'd just lost the weight. I just got my confidence back. I was working. I'd just come back off a huge cabaret tour in London. I was in a good place. I was ready. And I think because I put so much love into my tour that I'd just been on down in London, I come back and I was ready to I thought, yes, I'm here. And I think because I put so much love into my work, I came back home and I found love. And I truly believe that.
How did you meet him?
I met him in 2019.
Yeah, how did you meet him?
Through a networking event. We're both involved in a film group on Facebook. I don't have Facebook anymore, but we both went to a film event, and then we were in the Facebook group, and we just had each other, and you could post what you were doing, and I'd just been on the tour. He hasn't been on my personal account, and I was sharing. I'm in London, I'm in Southampton, I'm in Portsmouth, I'm traveling around the United Kingdom. And it was fabulous, it was great. And then I come back and he messaged me one night. I was checking in where I was in all these stores, all these cities. And he messaged me one night and he said, hello, how is your tour going? It looked fabulous. And I was like, at the time, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was just happy and grateful and all of gratitude that I got my life back. Honestly, so grateful that I got my life back. I was healthy and happy. That's all I thought about. And I put so much love into my work. And then I seen a few of his work and I thought, this guy's really good. He's got an eye. He's got that, that artistic eye. He knows what works.
Yeah.
And, after he messaged me and after a couple of weeks, a month of talking about work and, we like similar directors, Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino. We loved all the same films. We just really had a passion. We just said, if you ever want to grab a coffee and talk about film one day and, films and authors and writers, then let's do it. Let's go for it. So we met up. But this has been my first date in a long time, okay? A long time. So I was drinking with my friend in the house, had a few drinks, as we all do. We've all been there. And I just got a bit excited, a bit giddy. But he got there late. He had transport problems, but he was telling me it was I'm 5 minutes away. So my favourite drink is vodka and Diet Coke. So I thought, well, I've just walked into this bar. There's loads of people all in couples. I'll just go straight to the bar. I know, unpredictable. And I go to the bar, order a vodka and Diet Coke, go back to the table, and then he comes in and we met and we just laughed all night talking about films, Pulp Fiction, Steven Spielberg, all the amazing filmmakers that we both like. And then we just organically met. And then the year after, Andy decided to make a film called While We Wait. And the start of it is based on our relationship. When I was waiting to get picked up to go to a rehearsal, but my friend was late, and we didn't know how we felt about each other at the time. Just a bit and he ended up doing lunges, because he just felt a bit, I don't know. At the start of the film, the character is doing lunges in the living room. It's hilarious. It's called While We Wait. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh my God, I want to see it. I'm going to watch it today.
Please watch it today. And then here we are 4 years later, but he's the co-creator of Ft.EM and the director of the show, so it's all worked out well so far.
Heaven.
Pardon?
It's a match made in heaven.
Oh, thank you. But I think what works so great is he understands the chaos of my life and the madness. And I needed someone, if I was ever gonna be in a relationship, it has to be someone to understand the chaos and the madness. I've had a few dates in the past and I've dated people in the past and the madness is just not for them, and that's okay. Thankfully.
Yeah, otherwise you never would have met him, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like the best of the relationships are when, when it comes in unexpectedly, when you don't, when you're not even looking for it, it just slides into your life.
But the first date, obviously because we'd had a few drinks and I was so happy, I said to him, he sat down, he had a beer, I had a vodka, and we were talking about what the film was be like and what movie stars and directors. And then I said to him, oh, by the way, I've lost 8 stone. And he goes, oh my God, wow. I've opened Diet Coke later and a beer later. I say, oh, by the way, I'm dyspraxic. He goes, okay. He goes to the toilet. I thought, oh, he must have done a runner. He must have gone, I'm too much. Okay, that's fine. He comes back and he goes, what's dyspraxia? What is it? So we got an hour of me telling him about that and be like, And here we are 4 years later, so I must have done something right.
It just flew by, right? It just flew so smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Now my partner is aware of dyspraxia and he's aware of neurodiversity. And with his job and meeting loads of people, he's aware of that and he knows about it. And he's really interested and he's very pro awareness like me. He's very passionate about what I do and speaking out, and he supports me, which is great.
yeah. Kudos and lucky you. Or
Oh,
I would say he's lucky to have you, MJ.
thank you, my darling.
So now let us talk about. We are almost towards the end of our show, so let's talk about some positives, some of your strengths, or some kind of I feel kids with the neurodiverse individuals, not just kids, they have this unique traits that are not found in typical people, I would say, and those are like the out of box traits. I call them the superpowers.
Yes.
So share some of your superpowers that you feel you've cruised through life because of those superpowers.
Absolutely. So I believe being dyspraxic and neurodiverse as my superpowers are being, my humility, my understanding, my empathy as a woman, as a person. I feel like now, because I work and I talk to so many people on a daily basis, my understanding, my openness, my empathy is my superpower. Dyspraxia has made me who I am. Dyspraxia has brought so many positive things into my life, including tonight with yourself, and the Dyspraxia Foundation, and it's been fabulous. And all what I do is talking and being open about my condition has brought so much. I'm going to get emotional here. Has brought so much goodness into my life that I am so grateful for it. It's brought my humility. It's made me a good listener. It's why I do what I do today. My work, my love, my life. It's part of my story. It's part of my tenacity. It's my battle. It's my rhino skin. It's my armor. It is my everything. And I am proud of my disability. I am proud of my condition. I am proud of being a dyspraxic woman. And I am ready.
Oh, and you have made so many accomplishments.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so proud of you, MJ. I'm so proud of you. And
thank you. I am so proud of you too. You are an amazing person. You're amazing at your job. You are incredible at what you do. The way you listen, you help, you work with so many people, and you do it and you love it. And that's honestly, I'm so glad to know you. So thank you.
You're so kind. Thank you for the love. And thank you for coming in today and sharing all about your life. And we might have a second episode soon on a different topic.
Yes, you're going to be on Drinks with MJ soon.
I am waiting to meet you when you're here in summer.
And I'm going to be coming over to the States, which I'm so excited about. So thank you.
Sure. And do you have any so for the viewers who maybe want to meet you, or are you going to do any talks around in California when you're here, or if they want to come listen to one of your talks or maybe get to know you or meet you?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram. My Instagram is MJ Carter TV and it's EMJ Carter TV. I'm also on TikTok, MJ Carter TV, and my channel is Drinks with MJ, EMJ, on YouTube. So you can find all my stuff on there. And then a lot of my stuff is on the internet. So just type in MJ Carter on Google, and my talks will be out very, very soon with dates and collaborations. And let's go for it. I'm excited. But always be yourself. Always ask questions. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid of judgment. Have a lion heart and you'll get there.
MJ, it's been a fabulous, fabulous time spending with you and talking about your personal life today.
Thank you. I've had a great time working with you and talking tonight. So thank you. It's been fabulous to share the night with you. Thank you.